Hi, Jerome.
Hey,
Manvee here.
Manvee. Good to see you.
Thank you for inviting me to Worldview today. And I have been a big fan of yours. I think we've spoken a couple of times at different events.
Yeah.
3 times. And you've been a great supporter of a lot of, being a journalist, and we hear you every day on Wbez. But you've been a great supporter for a lot of causes. And I always wondered, what drives you, Jerome?
You know, I think when you get an opportunity to have access to a radio station and a talk show, you think about, well, how can I do the most good with this? And I want to talk about things that are important in the news, but I also want to build some community. I want to make a difference, and I think the best way to make a difference is the highest calling of this, is to bring people together to make a difference. And so when we started doing the global activism segment, that was our direct intent was, well, let's see if we can get people to help other people help people. And it was, phenomenally successful. I know that there are, babies with incubators in Cote d'Ivoire because of the show, and there's people going to school in Senegal because of the show, and it's not because of the show, because people listening came together and did something when they heard about a worthwhile thing to do. And I want to put some worthwhile stuff out there and make people think about, well, I should maybe do this. I should help these people. I should do this thing. And if they don't do that thing, maybe they'll do some other thing that's completely outside the show. And they just say, well, if Manvee can do this and go to Northeast India and do all this clay stuff, maybe I could do something myself that I could, do with kitchenware in my community.
You've been to India in 2016, right, with IDS,
Yep.
and you visited a lot of projects that that organization supports. What was the one thing that really drew you to the community out there?
To the Indian Development Service folks?
Not to India, like both, like the commitment of IDS as well as...
I knew when I went with them that I'd be seeing things that I like, because I'm on the same page with those people there. I mean, my mind is just like their mind. I've knew them for 20 years before we went. And so I knew that they would bring together a group of NGOs and things that we'd really like to see. So it was a great opportunity. We went from north to south in India. Got to see a lot of the countryside. I got to see a lot of the urban places, and so it was an amazing experience. And I thought it was an opportunity for people to hear about India kind of in a first-hand way on the radio and get to feel what it's like to be at an NGO in India and recycling stuff in the middle of Delhi and with crazy stuff.
The rag pickers.
With the rag pickers and the rest.
What is the one project that you felt that really, really, made you tear up, or you really felt something was, something like really drew you to it? I know you've done a lot of projects. You've heard a lot of projects in the last few in your lives, in all the time you've done radio. There must have been a couple of them that you still remember and said, "Oh my God, that was a sharp one."
There was a woman who got cancer, cervical cancer, and it's a preventable kind of cancer, and she went to India and she paddled down, I forgot which river, the Ganges, I imagine it was the Ganges River, but she stood up and paddled down and raised awareness for cervical cancer in India, and she was dying from it herself. She knew she was dying, and she decided to do this as a heartbreaking story, and I could barely, it teared up all through the interview. It was terrible. She was, a courageous,
was that her first time going to India, or?
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay.
And she got all this news coverage and stuff, and she came home and she died.
Oh my goodness, that is hard. That is hard. What would you tell the next generation who wants to do things that makes a difference? What would you tell the next generation? That's your last question, I promise you.
I think a lot of people, if they logic it out and they try to think too much about it, they won't do anything. I think you gotta kind of follow your impulse and then do from there, because you can talk yourself out of anything if you think hard enough. And sometimes you're going to fail, but sometimes you're going to succeed and you're going to win. And you just got to keep button up ahead and moving with a good heart, and I think you're going to go forward and be happy.
Great advice. Thank you. I think that's what made me do Terraklay or Deccan Footprints. I didn't think about it. I just jumped into it because I wanted to make a difference. And then you realize that the business aspect of it actually throws you off. So you have to balance that out. So I think that's an important message, that go for it. Eventually you're going to do some good. There's always going to be some good outcome out of it. Thank you, Jerome. I really appreciate it. I know that I just did a last-minute thing, and I wanted to have you here, but I'm hoping the people who listen to to this podcast realize that anybody can make a difference. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. That's why we do it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jerome. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.